Hello everyone, this is a video tutorial for your Selection Tools practice project. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is go into Google Classroom and go find the assignment Selection Tools Practice. I want you to open that up. And then I gave you a Photoshop file. You can see the .psd. So I actually gave you a Photoshop file that you're gonna open. So just come here. Okay, and since we can't download it, I want you to come over here to the dots and then open a new window. And then once you open it in a new window, now you can download it. So I want you to download it. Okay, this will be sitting in your downloads in your computer. Okay, and then what you're going to do after you download it, you're going to have your Photoshop opened up. So get your Photoshop opened up. And then you are going to come File, Open, and you're going to find it in your downloads. Okay, it should be the very top one if you have it in your list. Okay, and you have it by date, it should be the top one. Go ahead and select it and then open it up. Okay, so you can see that what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be using selection tools and coloring. So that is the assignment. Okay, so let's go back to the one that you have. Okay, so you have two pictures. You have a girl holding flowers and then a field of daisies on the bottom. Okay, so if you see that, okay, we're going to use that for later on. We're going to actually use this same file to do masks and learn how to do selective mask making and selecting subject and things like that. But that's down the road. Okay, so just turn that off. We don't need that for now. I want you to come to your girl holding flowers layer, and I want you to duplicate that. So Command J. Okay, and then just turn this off. Let's go ahead and just say extra copy down here. So just label it extra copy. It's always good to have while we're learning. Okay, and then just turn that off. Okay, so I want you to come up here to the girl holding flowers copy up here. And what we are going to do is we're going to practice the selection tools. So far you've only really practiced, well, I know that you have practiced the quick selection tool and the magic wand tool and maybe some of these tools up here, but I want us to really practice them so you get to know them well, okay? Okay, so first thing I want you to do is make sure you have these two layers turned off and then make sure you're working on your top layer, okay? And then what we're gonna do is we're just going to select her dress first, okay? So zoom in and then hold down the space bar and bring the picture up, okay? And I want you to grab, what do we want to grab? Let's go ahead and grab the quick selection tool. Okay, when you grab your quick selection tool, I want you to notice up here, make sure sample all layers is always checked because it's just going to help us down the road. So get into the habit of making sure it's checked. I want you to come over here. Do you see there's 3 brushes here? I want you to grab this first brush. Okay, the first and the middle brush are basically the same, but grab the first brush. Okay, and then let's see, I have a hard round brush selected in size 7 now, but I'm going to actually hit enter and increase it. Okay, so I'm increasing it to about size 35. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start clicking on my dress that I want to select. Okay, and you can see that it grabbed too much actually. So I'm going to come up here to my little minus brush here, and I'm going to push this line back so that it only grabs her dress. Okay, I went too far, so I'm going to come over here and push that. So you have a plus sign and a minus sign. So you want to add the plus sign for anything that you want to add and the minus sign for anything you want to take away. So now I'm going to bring my brush size down. Do you guys see my brush? I'm going to bring it down. And I also want to add this little corner here. Okay, so I'm going to add that corner. Oh gosh, sometimes it will grab too much. So what happens with the selection tool is that it just looks at pixels and it finds the edge based off of the color. So if it believes that this is a part of it, this color might have attracted it, so it grabbed that as well. So you just hit the push it back, okay? So right now, and then I'm going to bring my brush down a little bit more with my minus bracket, and I'm going to also deselect that. So now, oh gosh. So just go back and forth between, you sort of have to fix up here a little bit now. Okay, so now I have my selection. Okay, so now a good thing that you want to start doing is when you have your selection, I want you to come up here to select, and then I want you to come down here to modify. And we have a border, smooth, expand, contract, and feather. I want you to contract it. That means that we're going to bring the marching ants in just by 1 pixel. Because if it's outside, sometimes it looks odd. So if we just bring that selection in by 1 pixel, okay, and then I'm going to come back up here again, select, modify, and I'm going to feather my edge by 2 pixels. And when I feather it, that means that it's not a hard cut line, that it's a soft edge, and that way the viewer doesn't catch things that are hard edges. Okay, so feather radius 2 pixels, hit OK. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to color this. So what I want you to do is go make a new layer. Okay, and make sure that you are up here on this new layer. We have this selection, so we're going to select it. What I want you to do is come down here to your color box, and we're going to grab a bright blue color. So, oh gosh, maybe something like that color. Okay, so something like that. Hit OK. Okay, and then you're going to fill it. The shortcut for fill is Option Delete. Okay, so there's the dress, and looks pretty decent. I'm going to come up here now to my blending mode, and I'm going to come down here to soft light. Okay, so it just gives a little touch of color. You can still see the texture of the dress. Okay, once you are done, you want to deselect that. So you do Command D, okay, and then the first color's done. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the hat. Okay, and this project is just basically teaching us how to use selection tools. Okay, so stay up here. Okay, I want you to come up here and grab the magnetic lasso tool. Okay, and we are going to go ahead and go around your hat. Okay, so when you use the magnetic lasso tool, it just sort of finds the edge based off of the colors, and it just sort of like a magnet, it just sort of grabs it and attaches itself to the edge. So you just have to take your mouse and just go around, just like your mouse is just grabbing, just going along the edge. Don't go too fast, because or else it will start grabbing other pixels. Just take your time. Okay, and I think I showed you this tool in class, and if you accidentally get yourself into a mess with this tool here, because sometimes that happens, you hit the escape button. Okay, so if you start making a big gigantic spider web and you can't get out of it, hit escape, the top left hand key of your keyboard. Okay, so I'm going around and come back to the beginning. Once you click on the beginning, you get your marching ants. Now, there are some areas that are not perfect. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come down here. I'm going to grab my quick selection tool. Okay, and since I already have my selection on the hat, I can sort of fix my selection with the plus and the minus brush up here. So I'm going to add some right here. Okay, and I think I'm going to take the minus, and I'm going to, let's see, actually, I need to grab the plus. I'm going to actually add some here. Oh, shoot, I don't want to grab too much. So take your minus and then push it back. You don't want to grab her hair right here, so just sort of go carefully. Okay. Grab my plus here and bring it to her face. Okay, so just sort of look around, make sure you have everything. I'm going to grab my minus. I'm going to push this down a little bit. Oh, great. Maybe take my plus. Now you have to make your brush super small if you want to get into teeny tiny little areas like this. Bring that up a little bit. Okay, and maybe add a little bit here. Okay, so I think that's good. So now what we're going to do is we are going to, actually, let me just sort of add a little bit right here too. Okay, I think that's okay. Okay, so now we're going to come up, select, modify, okay, and we're going to contract it by a pixel, 1 pixel, hit okay. We're going to select, modify, and we're going to make sure we feather the edge as well, okay, 2 pixels, 1 or 2 pixels is fine, and then hit okay. Okay, and now what we're going to do is we're going to color this with a bright yellow color. So make sure you're still up here on this layer 1. Come over here to your color box and grab a yellow, a bright yellow corner up here, and then hit OK, and then do Option Delete, fills it. Okay, and it looks pretty good. I'm not sure. I guess if I want, I could maybe bring this out and see if I like it better. I'm not sure what to do about that. Let's see. And if you accidentally grab too much or you don't like the selection, you can always, let's see. Now let me see, let me do it again. Option Delete. So sometimes I go back and, okay, I think I like that better. So Command D, deselects. Okay, and I could probably do something with this later on. But for now, we can, let's see, maybe I like, let's see, what did I have for my other ones? Yeah, I guess I have about the same. Okay, so I guess that's okay. If we want, we probably could come in here with a eraser tool and just bring our opacity down a ton and erase some of that. Let's see what happens if we do that. I'm gonna bring it down to 20. I'm on my layer up here, and let's see what happens if I, oh, you know what? I need to actually hit the D key. Let's see if I do my eraser. Do I like that better? Maybe that looks better. Okay, so I think that's a little better. So we can talk about that more in class, okay? But basically, I'm just erasing some of that yellow that was here. And I'm working up here in this layer here. Okay. Okay. So now we are going to go ahead and do the eyes. So make sure you're still working up here. Okay. And next thing we're going to do, come up here and grab your brush first before we do that. I want to get out of that eraser tool. Okay, so now come up here and grab your lasso tool. So come up here to the third tool and go to the lasso tool. When you have your lasso tool selected, you're going to notice there's selections up here. Okay, so right now we're only selecting one thing at a time. If we want to select 2 things at a time, we're going to come over here. Okay, or another shortcut, I'll show you both, okay? So I'll show you both ways to use the selection, the lasso tool. So the first way, I could come in here and I could just start selecting her eye, okay? And then if I want, since I'm here, right here, if I want to add this to the selection, I have to hold down my shift key and then I have to select over here. If I hold down the shift key, then it selects, then it keeps both of them. Okay. So I'm going to undo that, Command Option Z. I'm going to undo that for a minute and show you the other way. So if you have your lasso tool selected, you can just come over here, okay, and use that one. So then you don't have to hold down the shift key. So I want you to, first off, let's go ahead and zoom in so we can see what we're doing. Since we're using the lasso tool, remember you can't let go of your finger until you're done. So just come around very carefully. Okay, so this is going to stay on while I come over here and grab this eye over here, the pupil over here. Okay, and now I have two of them selected because I was using this one. Okay, so now we want to actually use blue, but before we do that, let's come up here and just make sure that we have everything set. So I want to contract it. Maybe I don't want to even contract. Let's see. I don't want to contract anything. So I'm going to say, oh, let's see. Okay, I guess we'll just leave 1 pixel there. I guess that should be okay. And then we'll go ahead and feather it. And we're just going to feather it maybe by 1 pixel this time. So let's go ahead and do 1. Okay, and then hit OK. You're going to come over here to your color box. You're going to grab blue, like this, like maybe something like this. Okay, grab a blue. To fill the blue, you do Option Delete. Okay, and I feel like I could expand. Maybe I think I see brown on her edge, so I'm actually going to come up here, select. I'm going to actually grow that. I'm going to actually expand it. So I'm going to expand that by 2 pixels because I feel like it needs to come out a little bit more. So I'm going to do that. Oh gosh, let's see what happens. So now maybe I do need to feather it a little bit more. So now I'm going to come up here, select, modify, and feather. And I might feather by 2 pixels this time. Okay, and now I have a bigger selection. I'm going to do Option Delete. Okay, that fills it. And there we go. So actually, you know what? I don't know if I kept that old blue color in. So let's see if oh shoot. Okay, I want to get rid of the blue. Now I'm going to come up here, do select, modify, expand by 2 pixels. Okay, now it's a bigger selection. Select, modify, feather by 2 pixels, hit OK. So now I'm going to do Option Delete. Okay, and then that looks better, a lot better. Okay, so Command minus, now her eyes are blue. So far we have her dress is blue, her hat is yellow, her eyes are blue, and now we're going to come in here and change the color of her lips because this is a project on using selection tools. So we need to select things, okay? Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and do her lips. So since we've used the lasso tool, we've used the magnetic lasso tool, let's go ahead and use the polygonal tool so that way you can get practice. Okay, so you're just coming up and you're just going to select. Remember, we're just basically looking at color at this point. So just take your edge, you just click it with your mouse. Okay, and there we go. And let's go ahead and select modify. I'm going to contract it by 1 pixel. Okay, hit OK. And then I'm going to select and modify. I'm going to feather it by 2 pixels. Okay, and then if I come over here to my color box, I want you guys to grab a, let's bring it up a little bit, grab a super soft pink color, something like that. Okay, and then hit OK. And then we're going to do Option Delete, fills it, Command D. Okay, and we change the color without it being really noticeable. So then Command 0. So now you can see that her lip color has been changed. So we have her dress, her hat, her eyes, her mouth, and now we're going to color the flowers. Okay, so zoom in. Okay, so far you have practiced with the lasso, the polygonal, and the magnetic lasso tool. Okay, so now we're just going to speed this up a little bit by grabbing the quick selection tool. Okay, and we grab the quick selection tool. I want to make sure that you look up here first. Where are you? Are you on the plus or the minus brush? So grab the plus brush. Okay, Make sure sample all layers is checked because we're working up here actually. Okay, and I want you to just use the selection tool and just grab this, like this part of the flowers. So I grab the stem. I don't want the stem, so I'm going to come over here with the minus brush and I'm going to deselect that. I'm going to push this out a little bit more, so you just go back and forth between your plus brush and your minus brush. Okay, and I'm just going to keep it like that. So one more time, select, modify. I am going to contract by 1, hit OK, select, modify, feather. I'm going to feather by 2, hit OK. I'm going to now come over here and I'm going to use white on this, okay? So if you have your white as your background, just go ahead and hit this here, okay? And then once you make your white your foreground, hit Option Delete, okay? And it looks like that, Command D, okay? So I just lightened it. Remember, we are on the blending mode soft light. That's why it looks like that. If I had it on normal, it would look like that. Okay, so I'm just going to keep it on soft light. Okay, so we're so far so good. Let's go ahead, hold down your space bar and move your picture over. Make sure you're still working up here. Okay, so now we're going to make this a different color. So come back over here, grab your quick selection tool, make sure you have your plus brush, and you can make your brush size bigger by making the right bracket bigger. And just going to come over here and start selecting. Okay, and how much do we want to select? We can probably select all the way up to there. How about let's come over here and select this as well. Okay, so now you don't want to have the green. So if you have a little bit of the green, bring your brush size down and pull that back in. So this needs to be brought back to the flowers. So just go around and make sure everything looks good. I want to add to this, so I'm going to add to my selection there. I think I'm just going to keep it like that. Okay, and now we have the selection. Let's go ahead, select, modify, contract by 1. Okay, and then let's just select, modify, and let's feather by 1 too. Let's go feather by 1. Okay, hit OK, and let's go ahead and make this black. So go ahead, hit your D key. That makes it black, your foreground. So since black is your foreground, then do Option Delete. It will fill it. Okay, and let's see. I'm going to undo that for a minute. Okay, I was looking at this white here, so it caught my eye. I guess that's okay. Okay, so make sure black is your foreground. Hit Option Delete, fills it. Command D, deselects. Okay, so if I turn off this picture, that's what it looks like. Okay, and then one last thing we're going to do. We have this little bunch of flowers here that we're going to color. So make sure you're up here and get a good position. Okay, grab the quick selection tool again. Make sure you're up here with the plus, and you're just going to grab it. Okay, now because this did not grab it all the way, I'm going to just bring my brush size down and just sort of grab that corner. Oh gosh, it just grabbed too much. So I'm going to take my minus brush and bring it back. Okay, I think so far so good. Okay, and this time we're going to use oh, you know what? I forgot to do the select. So select, modify, contract by 1 pixel. Okay, and then select, modify, and feather. So if you guys if you want to expand your selection, you hit expand, just like we did before when I needed to change her eyes, the selection in her eyes. So you can choose border, smooth, expand, contract, feather. So feather is just basically softening that edge where it's not a hard edge. When you cut out something, it's a hard edge, the viewer picks up on that. So feather radius 1, hit OK. And now we're going to change the color. So come over here, grab your green. Let's grab a dark green up here in the corner, hit OK, Option Delete, okay, and then it fills it like that. Then do Command D. Okay, so now we are done for this part of the practice, okay? We're going to come back to this project and we're actually going to use a mask. We're going to actually use a selection tool and we're going to select her and mask her out, and it's going to look something like this when we do that, okay? But that's more advanced. We're not there yet, but you can see here I have a mask here, okay? That's why I gave you the field of daisies, because we're going to be using this down the road, okay? So basically, all we have for now is this, okay? So you want to make sure that the things that you need to have colored are, okay, so if you turn everything off, it should look like this. You have a blue dress with a little spot down here. You have yellow hair. Her eyes are blue. Her lips are pink. And then in the bunch of flowers, you have a white patch, white color here, black and green, okay? And all of this is on one layer sitting above the photo. And I have a soft light blending mode on it. If I turn on my picture again, it looks like that. Okay, if I turn this on and actually, let's see if I turn that off. Oh, actually, yeah, I don't even need to turn that on. So all you need to do is just turn that off to see the original picture, okay? So if I turn it off, it looks like that. That's the original picture. If I turn this on, then that is the coloring using selection tools, okay, and a blending mode. Okay, so you want to make sure that you have the coloring on and make sure that the blending mode is set to soft light. Okay, okay, so that's all we're doing for now. We're going to come back to this picture later on and remove the background. And removing the background is a little bit harder because these pink flowers are going to be hard to cut because she has pink in here. So I picked this picture because I knew it would be a little bit harder for you to cut out the background. But we're not there yet. We'll come to that soon, okay? So I want you to just, at this point, leave all your layers like this. I don't want you to merge them or anything because we're going to come back to this project later on, okay? So at this point, I just want you to file. We're going to export it. Let's first save it before you do that. So file, save as. Okay, so right now it's called Selection Tools Practice. Let's go ahead and put a space in there. Put your last name, put your first name, and then P 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, any of your periods. I'm going to save this to my desktop. Make sure it's a .psd, okay, and hit save. And then okay. Okay, next thing we need to export. So file, export, and you're going to come quick export as PNG. You already titled it correctly, so everything should be good up here. Make sure it's a .png. You're going to save it to your desktop and hit save. Okay, so now that you have it on your desktop, now you can come to your project. Let's see, where is my project? Okay, so now you can come to your project and then you can go ahead and add it. Okay, and then remember to upload it and then remember to hit turn in. Okay, and then you're all finished with this. Okay, so that's all we have for now. I want you to make sure you have everything titled correctly before you hit, before you go to export it. And then after you export it, make sure you give me your PNG and not your Photoshop file. Okay, so that's it for the selection tool practice. Have fun with it. And you can always come back to this project and practice. That's why I'm giving it to you. So you can practice, practice, practice until you get really good with your selection tools. Okay, so that's it for now. I'll see you soon. Talk to you soon. Goodbye.